topic we must discuss. We've talked about Ali Wong this week, or the past few weeks, but
Yeah.
Ali Wong, after 8 years of marriage, is getting a divorce.
Yeah, man. It's
Um,
I am not. I'm surprised, but I'm not that surprised.
yeah, I mean, everything I've read that it was amicable and they're still going to be co-parenting, and it. And I also read. I think in her book she mentions that they did sign a prenup and whatnot.
Yeah,
But so no more. I haven't heard any details about the why or how.
for sure.
But I mean,
We can speculate. We're comedians.
but that's it. We're both like you and I are both married,
Yes.
and it can be difficult. I mean, hey, just do taxes with your spouse and let her see what comedy. That's all you really need to do to see how your spouse really feels about all these comedy shows you're doing. But I think it is interesting. It's an interesting topic, yeah, for people who one are married or wanting to date or wanting to pursue comedy, but also have a life. I think
Yeah.
I've heard. I think maybe Dan Soder said on the podcast, or one of the New York comics was like, my advice to young comics is don't date anyone for like the first 5 years of comedy or whatever. Maybe it was Nate Bargatze. No, because he was dating. Someone said don't date because comedy is your life for a long time. So it's a
Yeah.
tough balance, and you
Tough
have
balance.
kids too.
Yeah. I mean, I think without a doubt, the element of Ali Wong being super successful, being a female comedian, and just being like, and I don't even want to say female, and just being a comedian at the top of the game is going to have challenges, like for
Mm,
sure in a marriage, right?
yeah.
I think it's so fascinating that we've watched her transition from each of the specials around like her at the start of her success, her husband being like the main breadwinner in the family, and how that transitioned to like the her being the main breadwinner in the family. It's you know it's complicated. I've been a retired trophy husband. Like I was the trophy husband, and then I became like the other side of it as well. So and I'm not anywhere close to Ali Wong's, like nowhere close to like what she's pulling in, right? But it's tough because like that shift of breadwinnerism kind of changes you. You know what I mean? Like it kind of
Mm,
changes the dynamic. Where I would say where some people aren't like that comfortable being like the stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
not a thing that most people may like enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Or they weren't necessarily expecting it either.
But it's also like the lifestyle of a comedian is not for everyone. Like when
Oof.
you're on the road
Yeah.
like
The
all
road,
the time.
the travel. I mean, and she was doing movies like and like that's you're not with that person. Like that person
Yeah.
isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it's not easy for sure.
So like the
Just that
money can only get you so far. It's like, oh, you being gone all the time, we're multimillionaires, but it's also
yeah.
like, hey, we have 2 kids and a family, and like,
Hmm.
and I'm not speculating what went wrong with her marriage at all. I'm just know from personal experience and friends in this game that like that road life of always being gone can at first it's like, yeah, I know that's part of the job, but when it becomes reality, there's
Yeah.
lonely. I was in LA, what was supposed to be for a week, ended up being 2 weeks because I got sick. Like, that's at a very low level, but that's still
Mhm.
randomly in the middle of the month. I'm like, I'm gone for 2 weeks, across the
For sure.
country. So it's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
it's
mean,
laying it out to your spouse, like letting them know ahead of time. Like before my wife and I, before she even moved down here, I was like, I love the idea, but just know I'm like gone like every night. Like, cause
here's the thing. The yes, that's helpful. That's very, very helpful. But it reaches a different category because I don't think Ali Wong knew the level of success that she was going to get to.
ooh. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and now, not that she's not deserving of it. Like, she deserves all of it, and
Yeah.
she's very skilled. It's just like that when those. I mean, I don't know. I feel like when you get to like 7, 8 figures, the game changes, son.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm excited to find out.
Yeah. It, it just changes. And so like, but also the expectations. And so like you got to be so established like in the marriage. And I think that's the other thing is like kids also complicated, and then the rearing of the kids. And it's like, well, where, to your point, where is daddy going? Also, where's mommy going? If mommy's the comedian
Hmm.
doing all the comedy like work, like Ali Wong, like you just never know. I mean, and again, we're all speculating here, but we kind of, there's without a doubt, obviously something went wrong in the marriage. And I have a hard time believing that comedy was not a factor.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think for people, oh, and we have Za from Malaysia in here. Yo, this is sick. Yo, thank you everyone for watching and hanging out and tuning in here. So yeah, I think so. Some people may be watching this and are like, "All right, I'm married. How can I balance comedy and marriage? Or I'm dating, or I'm thinking about dating." It's like I think for me, I think it's what just being transparent with your significant other, like being
Yes.
transparent. This is just the reality. This is I love doing this. This is my job, or I aspire to make this my job. These are the sacrifices. And also I think like ahead of time, getting that out in front and then checking in and like being like, how is
Yep.
this going for you? I was just gone for a week. Like how,
Mhm.
like really keeping an open line of communication, not taking it personally, but also having to understand what we do as comedians is not normal. It's
Yes.
not like, me. I remember early on driving 12 hours for like $50, for like 20 minutes and bombing. Not bombing, but for a 12-hour drive, it was a bomb, I will say. That's not normal. And it's hard for people to understand with a 401k and like a job like people. It's
Yes.
hard for them to understand and grasp it. So it's important to have an open line of communication at all
Yeah.
times about,
The
yeah.
check-in is a game changer. It's the being honest about, okay, how is it? How's it going now? And like, what are you doing to make this work? I mean, I know I went through a period where I was doing it like every other night, and then I had to check in, and the reality was like, yo, I need you at the house more nights. And I was like,
Mm,
how can I do more on the nights that I'm doing comedy? And so I try to like pack it in. It's like, and it became 3 open mics a night rather than 3 nights a week. It was
yeah.
like, how can I pack in this time? Um, and so yeah, I think it's just important to have that open line of communication and know that yeah, it's going to change because your spouse changed, your life changes. Like, I mean, there was a time when I was like, "Yo, babe, I'm going full time in this," and I was like a year in, and that was a bad time to go full time into this, right? But she was so supportive, right? And then like the reality sort of checked in, like I'm not even good at this yet. I'm just starting this, and so like just making sure that that open line of communication is there is very helpful.
I agree. Yeah, and Abhi, I hope I'm saying that right. Abhi or Abhi, let me know. This is their first time tuning in, so thank you. Um, but they say, I think it boils down to your own time management. My girlfriend has been super supportive of my comedy, but when it's our time, I better be paying full attention. And I'm mindful of that as well. That it is like when I'm with family, I'm 100% there. I'm not like creating content. Like I am with there. So your
The
sign says be intentional, be present.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like that's so key is that when you're doing family time, be there. When you're doing comedy, be there. Like,
Yeah.
and all of it. Like just yeah, don't be like, hey babe, I got this joke while you're having dinner, like talking about some other kind of stuff. Not that that doesn't come up, but like be there. Like if it's a joke about something you're talking about, then that's okay. But like, don't be like, all right, let me run these bits by you real quick because I got this set coming up in a couple of days. It's like, yo, she doesn't want to hear all that.
And just like they support you, support them just as much. And whatever it is they're doing, even if they're talking about something happening at work, listen, be there, contribute. Like as comedians, we can be very selfish and be like, it's us all the time or whatever.
Sure.
But like, be sure as much as they support you to reciprocate that. So even when you're not there, they still feel supported and a part of what you're doing. Making them a part of it is another aspect of it. So it's
Facts.
really, yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I've gone through 2 divorces. I haven't been divorced, but like my parents have been divorced twice. So like I divorce is no joke, and it's not fun, and it's not something people just do on a whim. So I hope the best for
Yeah.
Ali, but yeah, it's not a great situation, but hopefully maybe this will bring up the topic of like pursuing comedy, having like a healthy work-life balance, and just understanding like the relationship, the life side of being a comedian that people probably don't think about, but it's important and it's tricky.
Facts. Facts.
Nice. Keller Reeves in here. What's goody, fam? Oh, this is great. Oh, and Abby. Okay, it's Abby. Awesome. Oh, and they were posting photos because her husband's Asian. They were posting photos of her with the wrong Asian guy. Apparently there's a hashtag like hashtag wrong Asian that like
Yeah.
when people just post the wrong Asian. So I think it was Pack, Randall Pack or
Yeah.
something.
Randy Peck. She did a movie with him. She was
So they were
where she was.
posting photos of them. They were
Yeah.
what?
She played her. Randall Pack played her husband in a movie that she was
Oh.
doing, and so they put that up as getting divorced. But it's also the wrong Asian. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. But yeah, thank y'all for contributing it as well. We appreciate y'all's feedback as well. Oh, and John said her husband gets half the money, right? They had a prenup. Yeah.
yeah, I think the prenup was more on the fact that the husband wasn't gonna like. I think it was more to protect him, not necessarily to protect her. I think it was a prenup like, yo, we're gonna likely just do our own things because I've got this money saved up or whatever. Because he was doing like super well when they got together. But I don't know what the prenup says. I'm just thinking like, yo, if you had a prenup, usually a prenup means whatever we make separately in our own profession, we get to keep.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind, my friends. In any relationship, keep them a part of your own comedy career. As much as they support you, support them, and just communication is
Yeah.
crucial.
Get that prenup.
Ah! Oh, and Ryan hit us with a super chat.
Yay.
Let's go. Hit him with
That's
this.
that's that's the, that's the one thing I'm gonna tell my wife today. Man, I got a super chat. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
babe, we made 99 cents today. So
You can't
we
tell me
out
nothing.
you. We made it. Thank you so much, Ryan. We do appreciate that.